Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam Ciccolitti, and I am the artistic director of the Young Artist Series at the Ottawa Guitar Society. And I'm absolutely thrilled. It's a privilege for me to present today's artist, somebody I met at Kiwanis maybe 8 years ago, and who's currently pursuing a doctorate at McGill University with myself. And for all of you who would have been at the Young Artist Series first concert with Emmanuel Jacob Lacopo a few months ago, I promise that's the end of it. There's no more doctoral guitarists from McGill presenting this year. And we have two more young artists playing for us later on in the year. In January, we're going to be hosting Marc-Étienne Leclerc from Gatineau, Ottawa. And in February, we're going to be having Madeline Hall from Southwestern Ontario. And Răzvan, who's with us today, he's going to be presenting something, a program that's pretty unique. I think you guys are going to like it. It's I have to say, when I saw the program, first of all, I didn't recognize many of the pieces, and I like that. But also, I recognized most of the names of the composers. Some of the people I didn't even realize were composers. And I think the theme, what kind of ties all these pieces together, is the fact that it's all women composers and relatively new music for solo guitar, and they're all Canadian. So what's really fun is that Raz went out and got a few videos, introductory videos from some of the composers for this evening. So people like, well, you know what? I'm not even going to tell you. I'm going to let you guys discover, and I'm going to leave it over to Raz Bezna right now to kind of introduce himself and talk a little bit about the program we're going to hear this evening. So Raz, why don't you tell them what they're going to hear?
Yes, hello. Thank you everyone for being here. Um, as you know, Adam just mentioned that I'm a student at McGill. I'm a student of Patrick Kearney, and today's program is mostly Canadian women composers. So the first piece on the program is actually Arabesque by Anne Lauber. Briny Ocean by Dale Cavanaugh, sorry, followed by Arabesque by Anne Lauber. And then we're going to go to Abiliniana by Emilia Giuliani. And then following that, we're going to go to Leona Boyd, two pieces by Leona Boyd, Carnival and Ensueño. And following that is Lyric Sonatina by Jean Coulthard. And then we're going to take a little break, and the final piece will be Farewell to the Forest by Heather Jerome.
Absolutely, and I just want to mention that tonight's concert was actually produced by Pat Kearney, your teacher. So again, for those of you who know Pat Kearney, always goes above and beyond for his students, and he did all these videos with Raz. So if you like what you see, you like what you hear, Pat's the guy to reach out to. He's a great videographer and audio
Well, actually,
guy as well.
the video was done by some people at the Trebas Institute here.
Oh,
in Montreal.
okay.
So Patrick helped me with the audio.
Perfect.
And we did the audio together. But the video we did, I actually have to thank Lucian Puric, Helme Herman Tange Mailet, and then obviously everyone at the OGS and Adam here for having me and for making this possible.
Awesome. So why don't we segue right now to our first presenter. Dale Cavanaugh is going to introduce her piece, and the name of the piece is Briny Ocean. And why don't we let Dale talk a little bit about it?
Hello, everyone. Briny Ocean is a piece that I wrote in 2004, 2005, in that time. It's about Nova Scotia, and it uses the very famous folk song, Farewell to Nova Scotia, as a quote in the middle. That is a very melancholy version, and quite honestly, a lot of people don't even recognize it, even though that's difficult for me to imagine. But I wrote it, so that's why I know it so well. So the piece is written around that theme, and it's about waves, it's about nostalgia, it's about love, and it's about homesickness. So that's it, Briny Ocean. I hope you enjoy it.
Dear Răzvan, I hope I pronounce your name correctly. First of all, thank you very much for your interest in my music. I composed Arabesque in 1983 for the International Guitar Festival in Quebec City. At that time, I was using more atonal techniques. This is not the case today. Despite this concern for modernity, there is still a little lyricism in this piece. I don't like the idea that the performer is kept in a mathematical structure. I like the idea that he or her is able to have a freedom in rhythms or tempi, for example, so that he can feel the music. It's difficult for a composer to write for guitar when he's not a guitarist. It's an instrument that you can compare to the piano or to the violin, for example. Anyone who is not used, and this is my case, to write for guitar feels limited by the technique that has to study in a method for beginners. For this reason, I guess there might be some technical difficulty in this work, but I'm sure you will be able to go over and make a beautiful interpretation. Thank you again for your kind interest.
Razvan, I am delighted that you chose two of my pieces to perform. And maybe you know I used to live in Mexico, so I've always had a fondness for Latin rhythms. I made a little Latin suite. And these two are particularly influenced by Brazilian music that I love. And I've toured in Brazil. Once I had the honor because Madame Villa-Lobos came to greet me backstage and gave me a big hug. So that was really special. Carnival, again, very Brazilian. I got inspiration for the theme when I was waiting in Nashville in Chet Atkins' kitchen, and I scribbled the beginning of the theme on the back of my airline ticket. And Sueño means daydream. It's a more airy, light, again Brazilian, but lots of harmonics and slides and open strings, giving it that kind of daydreamy quality. That's what it means in English. So I hope you have fun performing my pieces. Maybe you'll learn the third one, Paranda. Thank you again. I'm really touched, and I wanted to wish you all the very best with your music and career. Merci.
Welcome back. Oh, welcome back, everyone. Sorry, I think put your earbuds in because I can hear myself in your microphone.
Welcome back, everyone. Hold on. There we go. Yep.
No problem, no problem. So, everyone, it's really a pleasure to be here. We've been listening to this wonderful new concert of Canadian music, and there is a couple of pieces that are non-Canadian. Of course, I only realized that a little bit later. So we have a couple of questions coming in. I'm going to start with one from the audience. Ben Diamond, who you may know, Raz,
Yeah.
was asking, given these are lesser known and performed works, what are some of the things you do to relate to these works on a deeper level? You know, I think he's talking about the fact that you don't really have reference recordings when you're listening to these. So how do you make a new piece that you don't really have any recordings of your own?
Well, that's it depends on whether I can get a hold of the composer or not. So if I do have the opportunity to speak to the composer, that's like the number one way I get inside of one of these pieces for sure. And then it's just really experimenting and trying to get the composer's intentions across every time. It's trying it out in different ways, trying out different colors and dynamics, and trying to play it in as many ways as possible until I feel that there's something that makes the music sing the best.
Yeah, until you kind of bring your own unique voice to it. I definitely personally really resonated with the piece by Anne Laubert that you had presented at the beginning of the program. I was second, actually. I was really, I was talking to you and chatting to you while the pieces were playing and just noticing how the piece seemed so idiomatic for the guitar, and she wasn't actually a guitar player. So what are your thoughts on that? You know, what are your thoughts about working with composers that maybe aren't guitarists? Do you like to be involved in the process with them? And do you think maybe Anne Laubert might have actually been working with a guitarist when she produced that piece?
Yeah, so I think thinking about it and listening to the recording again, I definitely think that she had some influence from a guitarist nearby, or she ran it past someone, or I really do need to ask her. But for working with composers, I haven't actually had that many chances to do this. So actually, when I was at Florida State, I was playing a new piece by Wangxin Li.
Okay.
It was called "Song of Wind." So she was actually a student at I think it was Massachusetts, the University of Massachusetts, or Idaho. But she wrote this new song, and that was pretty much the only time I've ever had a chance to work with a composer. And
so now in your doctoral studies, you're getting more into that. You're getting more into that kind of creative conversation with and dialogue with the composer and bringing these new works to life. I think it's a really important project. I think it's one of the most important things that we can do as living performers is celebrate the music of living composers and dead composers. Sometimes there are composers that have died that haven't actually been discovered, and Emilia Giuliani is kind of a great example. I know that there's kind of a renaissance right now. A lot of people are playing her music, but she's so overshadowed by her father. Yeah. And it's really unfortunate because, as we heard in the concert tonight, the music that she's writing is just as good and just as well suited to the guitar. And to be honest, I actually prefer it. So I think more people should be playing it. And kudos to you for doing that and including a 19th century work in the program.
I really love Giuliani, and when I found Emilia's music, I was like, oh my god, how did I not find this sooner? How did I just get a hold of this? And just find out that he had a daughter who also played guitar.
Yeah, absolutely. And kudos to you for kind of figuring out a way to because I know that you come from a 19th century background. You played a lot of 19th century music. And you kind of snuck her in there into your program of Canadian and women composers.
Yeah,
but it fits the theme, and it worked well, and it gave us kind of a nice variety, too. We got to see, what you're really, really, really strong at. We could definitely tell that you were in your element in that piece. Not to say that you weren't out through the whole program. This has been an incredibly virtuosic and beautiful tone and just awesome program to watch. We're going to finish off with a piece called Farewell, adequately named for a finale of a
Farewell
concert.
to the Forests.
Farewell to the forests.
The forests.
To the
because
forests.
we're on the verge of coming into winter now, so I think we got our first snowfall here today or yesterday.
Yeah, that's
first
right.
Serious snowfall. I don't know how you're doing in Ottawa.
Oh, we got some snow. We got some snow for sure.
Yeah.
And of course, I have to thank Pat Kearney, and I know you wanted to have a
Yes.
some
Before
people as
before
well.
we play this last video, I do want to thank again Patrick Kearney for all his help in making the audio possible and for all his support my time here at McGill and even before my time here at McGill. And then I also want to thank the videographers at Trebas, so Lucian Puric, Helme Hermana, Tanguy Malet, and then everyone at Ottawa Guitar Society for making this possible and for having me here. And thank you, Adam, so much for doing this and for encouraging.
Well,
for
it's
encouraging
my
us to
pleasure. I mean, the whole point of this series is to get young and extremely talented people like yourself, Mr. Raz,
Thank you.
and get them out there, and so people can see it. And now you've got all these beautiful videos that you can put up online and share with us and keep people like up to date about what you're doing and what your progress is like. And we definitely want to know more about this really intriguing women composer project that you're working on. If I just had one last question, like what's your favorite piece from the program that you've currently got? I know it's kind of an unfair question, but
I've been thinking about that a lot, but I think it definitely has to be the briny ocean. Like I connect to that a lot. You know, the feral, like the sentiment and the feeling that I get when I play that. I think I can really relate to that. And also being from the West Coast and Dale being from the East Coast, it's different oceans, but same feelings. You know.
Oh, I didn't see that one coming, Raz. You pulled that one out of your hat. That's a nice analogy right there. Yeah, I know. Actually, Ben Diamond, another guitarist at McGill, he was playing some of Dale's music last year, and he was the one that let me know. Like, he was the one that introduced me to the fact that Dale was a composer, because we all know her as, one of Canada's most celebrated female guitarists out there in the world right now. One of Canada's most celebrated guitarists. No need to specify that she's female, but that I believe she's out in Germany right now, and she's part of the Amadeus Guitar Duo. And can you just tell us one really quick thing about this last piece that we're about to hear?
Oh yeah, so this last piece is written by Heather Jerome, and for the guitarists out there, Heather Jerome is actually like a co-author of the Bach Frank Kuntz book. The arrangements that Frank Kuntz did for the Bach, she helped him, and they worked together on collaborating for those. And she actually lives half an hour away from my parents in Victoria, so it was very neat to meet her. And
okay, so you met her in real life, and you talked about the piece. Did you play the piece for her?
No, I haven't had a chance to play the piece for her yet. So hopefully, when I share this video with her, she'll be excited to see that I did follow through with playing her music.
Yes, you did. Good man. And one last time, thank you so much to everybody out there in Facebook land and on the internet listening to Raz tonight, being there, supporting us. And of course, if you want to support the Ottawa Guitar Society, you can contribute by sending a payment to the PayPal link that I've included in the Facebook chat, or you can send us a direct e-transfer. And Raz is going to be giving a masterclass, which is open to the public tomorrow from 1 to 4. And I'll be there, and I can put the link up for the Zoom call in Facebook on the OGS page tomorrow, in case anybody's interested in joining us at that time. We have 4 players, and it promises to be a really good class. And I know that at McGill, Raz has been teaching some students, and he's getting lots of experience, so it's going to be a great chance for him to get some more experience with some high-level players. So I'm
looking forward to tomorrow. I'm
really looking forward to it. So without further ado, here we go with the last piece. Thanks again, Raz.
Well, no problem. One final thank you to all the composers for their wonderful music, and I've really enjoyed learning everything this year, and I'm looking forward to the future. So, all right. Thank you.